Do you know of someone who is required to have a wet to moist dressing due to a health-related issue? Whether you are familiar with this or not, I hope to inform you the 3 important steps in which to change a dressing. As a CNA and a future nurse, I have seen plenty of surgical and pressure wounds, and typically you will change these dressings every 1 to 2 days. By the end of this speech, you will know how to set up your sterile field, remove an old dressing, and apply a new dressing. So let's first start by setting up your sterile field. You will need sterile gloves, a towel, a black ink pen, tape, a cotton applicator, forceps or tweezers, an abdominal pad, Curlex, and 4x4s, sterile saline, and clean gloves. When you open up the packages, you want to be sure to not let the bandage or gauze touch anything outside of the package. And when you open up your sterile gloves, you're going to pull this out. You're going to pull away from you, towards you, and then open up these flaps. Careful not to touch anything outside of your sterile field. And then I'm just going to go ahead and add my sterile saline to my 4x4s and my Curlex. A little bit more there. Okay, now that we have set up our sterile field, we are going to go ahead and we are going to remove our old dressing. You will first start by putting on the clean pair of gloves. Okay, when you remove the dressing, it is be careful to not rip the tape off, and so you do not rip the skin. I'm gonna take this off. And then we're just going to remove the wet dressing, and then you could take the forceps and you can remove what is inside. And you're gonna know what the wound looks like, and if you need to take measurements, then this would be the appropriate time to take the measurements. We're done with these. And you just discard that into the trash can. And then to take your gloves off, you will pinch here at your palm and just slide that off into this hand and crumble it. And then take your 2 fingers underneath and pull off, and then you will just throw that in the trash can. Now that we have removed our dressing, we are going to go ahead and we are going to apply the new dressing. This is where it becomes sterile. So we are going to first put on our sterile gloves, and we're not going to touch the outside of the gloves, so we're going to pinch on the inside, and we're going to very carefully, okay. Here I'm going to break sterile field, and in that case I would just grab a new pair of gloves, but for time's sake I'm just going to go ahead and put these on. And then you would make sure there's no rips or anything in your gloves. From there, we're going to go ahead and take our 4x4s, which are soaked in the sterile saline, and you're just kind of pinch out some of that water to where it's just dripping. And then you're just going to you can take your cotton applicator, and you're just going to kind of slide that in there in a zigzag motion. And you'll just pack it full here. Once you have that packed, you can discard this cotton applicator and you can take the Curlex, and this one you're going to pinch out to where there's no dripping water coming out. And then you're just going to place this over top of the wound. And then finally you're going to take your abdominal pad here, and you're just going to place it over the wound, and then take a few pieces of tape and tape it down onto the skin. And this is just for like a protective padding. And then you will take your black ink pen and you will initial, date, and time that. And then finally you would remove your gloves the same as you remove the clean gloves by pinching at the palm, 2 fingers under, and then throw in the trash. You now know how to set up your sterile field, remove the old dressing, and apply a new wet to moist dressing. You never know. You or someone you know may be faced with a situation in which you or them have to perform a dressing change. With a little bit of time and practice, you will be able to confidently perform this procedure.